I am Diana Cabral, reporting for LatinPost.com, and this is ¿Qué dices?, taking the news to you and getting your reaction to today's headlines. The Latino voting bloc has never been more important for anyone seeking election. We spoke to a range of people from professionals to academics and students and heard their reactions to the first Republican presidential debate held on Thursday evening in Cleveland, Ohio.
You know what's really important is that, first of all, we need to be showing up to watch these debates. I got a chance to sit through a little bit and watch the mannerisms, what was being said, and here's really all I have to say about the debate. It's the first one. We need to pay attention to what's happening, not from the standpoint that they may have really covered some important points, from the standpoint that we need to get in the habit of being part of the conversation. We cannot be part of a conversation if we don't show up for it.
I think it doesn't matter whether Trump runs as a Democrat, as a Republican, as a third-party contestant. It really means what we need to know is how he feels about running this country in a very powerful way that will lead us forward and not backwards.
Well, it was a lively debate. There were a lot of fireworks. The Fox News moderators came out much more strongly against some of the foibles that each of these candidates bring with them to the podium than many people initially expected, particularly true in the case of Donald Trump. But it wasn't only Donald Trump. It was also Ben Carson and his lack of familiarity with foreign policy. Almost everybody got a dig about some of the weaknesses in their candidacies.
Who do you think may have performed better than expected within the eyes of the Latinos?
Better than expected, I would think John Kasich, who came across with a strong inclusionary message. Reasonably well, as expected, Jeb Bush, who had the only position on stage that was reasonably friendly to immigration and cast consistently, whether we believe he can get there or not is another question, but cast consistently an inclusive and expansive vision of economic opportunity. Marco Rubio, too, in talking about his own humble roots, his own immigrant background, without necessarily the bombast and the stridency of some of the other people who want to engage in mass deportation and the construction of things like walls or fences.
The expectation that fringe thought leadership is what's driving this nation versus what really is the core of America, which is the power of opportunity that's found all over this country in Latin households.
Well, I think there's a lot of facts to be shared during these debates, and unfortunately, there were facts on both sides, both Christie and Paul. And the deviation from that, because of the hug, really was just a deviation because of the media show that has to be created in the political scene. So I wish they would have stuck to the facts, because there is positive information to be shared on both their points, but it's part of the show.
Karen, ¿qué dices?
We have to go out there and vote. We have to make sure that our voice is being heard everywhere. We have to make sure we go to the polls and voice our opinions. If we live in this country, it's our responsibility to make sure that not only do we vote, but then we also make sure that others who can vote also vote.
I think Latinos should become more politically involved, but from a standpoint of what the actual issues are. There has to be a lot more analysis of what the important matters to the Latino community are. I believe that Latino candidates that become involved in politics should purposely not get involved in the media show that takes away from the essence of public service. It would defeat the purpose for Latinos to represent us negatively by becoming involved in what's the standard. We need to go against the standard.
Dean Bertzel, ¿qué dices?
This was not a debate that showed a very clear interest in the concerns that motivate Latinos. It was certainly a debate that did not show anybody, with the possible exception of Jeb Bush, willing to champion the interests of immigrants who wish a stronger and more forceful place in the economy and the social fabric of the United States. It was a debate that at least made very clear what the stakes are in terms of the stability of families, in terms of the ability of people to remain in the country, and in terms of access to services that give people the basic conditions for a healthy and successful life. And at least 8 of those candidates on that stage made it quite clear that that was not their key interest.
Listen, be engaged. This is an important time in our history. We got people out there saying things that just blowing our minds, but they're only doing it to get us engaged. We need to get engaged, we need to know what's going on, and we need to show our power. If you don't show up, quit complaining. That's all I can tell you.
These are the voices of our readers and community, a collective discussion where every voice counts. Be part of Que Dices. Email your views or video commentary to opinion@latinpost.com. Thank you for watching.